So just making some shifts, I think, helps shift
Absolutely.
the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things, I know you also work with couples.
I do.
Yeah, and one of the things that we hear often is that money and finances can be a deal breaker in a lot of marriages.
Absolutely.
You know.
Actually, a lot of marriages end because
Mm-hmm.
couples cannot agree on how to manage their finances. So it's so important earlier on, before one gets married, to engage in premarital counseling around finances. I find a lot of the couples I work with struggle with financial infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And what is financial infidelity?
that's when one person is not completely forthcoming with how they're managing finances and what they're spending. And so they may hold back on debt that they have incurred or purchases that they've made and not necessarily tell their spouse about it.
When women go shopping and they buy all those shoes,
Yes.
and they put them in the trunk of the car and they wait till the husband sleeps.
That's
and then
it.
they bring them in and put them in the closet. And then when they wear the shoes, they go, "Oh, you sure? You've seen these."
That's a form of financial infidelity that sometimes women, we rationalize.
We've been taught
it's
that by our mothers,
okay. Yeah. We get that. We inherit that as well.
So, of the people that you work with, what are you able to see, through them changing their beliefs and beginning to recognize their habits through the journaling and being able to see what a future could look like for them if they were more responsible with their money? What are some of the things that you've seen? What are some of the results?
Well, most of them have been positive if they actually give themselves permission to be active in that process. Oftentimes they come in initially with a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety around even addressing their issues with money. Yeah. So,
and I find that people will talk about their sex lives.
Oh, that's quite
And they
anything.
will talk about politics, but when it comes down to how much they make, how much debt they've accumulated, and all of those issues, people become mute.
We've somehow been sent this message that it's not okay to talk about our finances. That's another message that has been inherited, so to speak. It's taboo to talk about money. And my goal with my clients is to let them know that it's okay. You can't do anything about it if you're not open to it. You can't live in a place of shame. You can't live in a place of secrecy when it comes to your finances, which I'm finding that a lot of people do. And so what ends up happening is they may come in and hire someone like myself after they've gotten into serious trouble. And oftentimes that trouble has developed because they've not given themselves permission to address the issue along the way. They've not felt that it was okay to talk about it, whether it be to someone like a professional or to even someone like their husband or their wife.
And sometimes finding that professional that you kind of vibe with sometimes can be difficult because, for a long time, particularly with financial planners and other people, they were always kind of tied to an insurance or they were tied to some kind of something to sell you.
Right.
So a lot of people were always kind of skeptical. But with a money coach, there's nothing to sell.
Oh, absolutely not. That would be unethical for us to do that.
And what training does one have in terms of being a money coach? What prepares a person to be a money coach?
Okay. Well, there are some. Obviously, you have to have a love for it and a passion for it to begin with. There are some certification courses out there. I am by training a therapist, so I came into it from a different route.
Okay.
I'm trained on the cognitive and behavioral aspect of learning and the psychology around people to begin with. And I always had an interest in financial literacy and educating people when it comes to their finances. So I was able to kind of combine that love of that and the skill set of being a therapist to go on and pursue this idea of money coaching. And so there I took combined with the experience I already had, brought to the table, I trained under actually a couple of different money coaches that had been in the field for quite some time and did an extensive training around that and also an internship with working with a vast number of clients with with regard to helping them with their finances.
And that's important if
And that's
someone
very
is looking
important.
for a money coach to kind of find out their background.
Oh,
And,
certainly.
and where they're coming from.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. What one word of advice would you give us, just general, about how we can, you know, we're going through some economic challenging times now, and a lot of people are, you know, are trying to make ends meet, and they're trying to stretch their dollar. What's one thing that you could tell us to kind of help us as we go through this season?
Okay. Certainly, I always stress the awareness piece because of the economic times that we're in. A few years ago, it wasn't quite, you know, people were able to go out and spend freely without necessarily having to think about, okay, I don't necessarily have that money in the bank to cover the expenses. Be conscious of what you have to spend. Understand and respect that times have changed. Also, make a shift in your belief around spending money so freely and so frivolously. Also, be conscious of finding a way to put some extra, even in the economic times that we stand in, putting as much as you can away in a savings account, even as little as 3%. We encourage people to do at least 10%, but you know, I always encourage people, spend what you can, put it a little bit away, have it be automated, because you'll find that once you have it automated, you won't even know that it's missing. It's not missing, but that it's being deducted from your account into a savings account, so to speak. And when you have those emergencies come up, which they will, and you know, especially in the times that we live in, you won't necessarily have to be so put in a position where you're having to kind of figure out, what am I going to do now, okay, and to go into further debt. So I encourage people to save more. I encourage people to be more conscious of what they have and what they don't have. I encourage people to do things such as clipping coupons. There are a lot of savings vehicles now on the internet, exploring what your options are in terms of that.
Well, I'd like to thank you so much for being here and sharing those very wise words as we, you know, go through this economic challenging times. But those are tips for any time.
Those are tips for any time.
Yeah. So we have to save more, become more aware of how we're spending our money, and begin to know that we have the ability to have what it is that we desire.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Nakia, for being here on A Woman's Place. If someone wants to find out more information about your money coaching, how can they do that?
We have a website. It's www.solutionsoflife.com. They're more than welcome to visit the website. Give me a call. My contact information is on that site, and also listing of all the services that I offer.
Okay, well, thank you again for being here. When we return on A Woman's Place, we're going to talk to the Coupon Diva. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.